Who's scruffy looking?
What is up, my fellow nerds and gangsters? Welcome back to the Spiffy Nerd Herder channel. I am Danny. Now, with all of the problems facing our world, I want to answer one of the biggest issues facing society today, and that is the question of
world peace.
Why Darth Vader never upgraded his suit into something more awesome.
Well, that was really a stupid thing!
Now, my boy Star Wars Theory already made a video about this question. I have to say I agree with it.
I'll allow it.
But I think there's something more to this question of why Vader never upgraded his suit beyond just simple and small modifications. To start, let's take a gander at mi carnal General Grievous. The dude was meant to foreshadow Vader with the idea of a living creature being turned into a cyborg, just as what would happen with Anakin. While Grievous wasn't a Force user, the dude killed more Jedi than the Dooku, and the Jedi were terrified of him. I mean, who wouldn't be? The dude could jump, survive in space, hit like Ali, and had 4 arms of blade-spinning fury to make you into Bantha Voodoo.
Hello there.
Physically, there is no question in my mind that he is more terrifying than Vader.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
If he and Vader were to get into a non-Force smackdown, we'd be seeing Vader's helmet shattered on the ground. So, clearly we know that the technology was available for Vader to get some sweet upgrades. And not only upgrade, but to make himself straight nasty. A Grievous like Vader with the Force would have scared the pants off of anybody. So, why didn't Vader do it? Well, I think one reason stands out more than all of the others, and it has to do with this scene.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
So with that, I believe 2 things. First, Vader didn't want peeps to fear his mechanical appendages as people feared Grievous's. Vader wanted people to fear his abilities with the Force like they are here in Rogue One. They aren't afraid of his suit. They're afraid because he's moving things with his mind. The Force is something people didn't understand, and as the saying goes, people fear what they don't understand.
Fear.
Numero 2. Vader did not want to lose his connection with the Force. I believe if he were to have upgraded like General Grievous, he would have been physically awesome. But he would have learned to rely on those upgrades rather than rely on the Force, and therefore have ended up weaker in the end. We've all experienced this phenomenon. When we get something in our lives that's supposed to make our lives easier, but that ends up making us straight up stink in the end. We all learned how to do math when we were little. Then we all got calculators, and now we can't remember how to do 1 + 1 by ourselves. Vader wanted to make sure that his primary power for himself was always the Force, and that he wouldn't have had anything else to fall back on in its place. Since if he lost his connection to it, he would have just been like any other dude in the suits, and would have been overall weaker. The Emperor also made sure he maintained his connection with the Force by delegating the everyday rule of the Empire to his Vizier and the royal governors.
The regional governors now have direct control over their territories.
This way the Emperor can spend his time strengthening in the Force rather than worrying about the bureaucracy.
How will the Emperor maintain control without the bureaucracy?
In the end, Vader wanted people to fear his power in the Force, not his fancy suit like they did with Grievous. And second, Vader wanted to make sure that he always maintained his connection with the Force and that he needed to rely on the Force rather than a fancy suit. So I think Vader was as powerful a Sith as he possibly could have been because his ally was the Force, not a dang diggity suit. Unless of course he had this one, then he'd be awesome. So what do you guys think? What's your favorite theory of why Vader chose to never upgrade his suit? Let me know in the comments below. And as a side note guys, I've noticed that the views of Shards of the Past have a little bit stagnated lately. Go, hit it up, watch it again, share it. Let's hit 10 million, guys, because it's a cool number. It's pretty cool.
I agree.
Until next time, guys, stay spiffy, and don't do anything I wouldn't do twice.